And so, child of God, here's the first thing that you've got to come to grips with. In the Genesis story, in Genesis chapter 13, the first thing they had to come to grips with is this. When you get the big head, here's the question you got to ask yourself. What's more important, winning arguments or winning friends? This conflict between Abraham and Lot arose because of the blessings they received. These weren't curses, child of God. They had received blessings. And can I tell you, not every open door is meant to be walked through together. Don't get the big head, child of God. By God figuring out that He let your blessings get too big. God will always, watch this, keep you small enough, long enough, so your blessings won't come too soon enough to give you ego problems. Listen, don't let that blessing get too big, that platform that God put you on, or that job God blessed you with, or the family God gave you, or the ministry God trusted you, or the favor God has anointed you. Don't allow those things to give you the big head. Each of them, Abraham and Lot, possessed many flocks, servants, and herds, but they allowed the argument to dominate what God was doing in their lives. And so the question number one is, what's more important to you? Winning arguments or winning friends? Number two, if you're going to get ego to go, do not value possessions over people. This is an important truth, child of God. Abraham yields to Lot's choice. There's a dynamic that's moving in this text. One says, I'm going to value the relationship. The other one says, I want real estate. You got to decide what's more important in your life, people or possessions. Abraham appears to value Lot over land. Preach, Darren Edwards. Is there anybody right now, child of God, that knows that Abraham said, I would rather not be with Lot than to be at odds with Lot? You'll catch that later. I'd rather not be with Lot, land, than to be at odds with Lot, my own brother. Is there anybody listening to me right now to tell the truth that it takes a lot to deal with Lot? Lot will keep you up at night. Lot will have you worrying over worship. Lot will have you panicking while you should be praising. And can I tell you, child of God, God will give you a lot so you can deal with the lot in your life. And you've got to make the discovery in your life. Do I value possessions over people? Do I value people over possessions? Do I value what's real, or do I really want real estate? Abraham decided, I want Lot more than land. And then I want to give you the last one. You're going to deal with ego. People with the big head fall fast for the green grass. There it is. Lot chose greener pastures, literally. The lush and the fertile land of the Jordan Valley drew his attention. What appears to be a better situation can, in the end, bring you and I great harm, child of God. Lot chose the greener grass, watch this, near Sodom and Gomorrah, the place of doom. And all I'm trying to tell you is this: don't always assume that prosperity leads to happiness, but also don't assume that adversity will always lead to sadness. So stop living your life, child of God, edging God out. Can I tell you? There's no knowledge of Him when you do that. There's no faith in Him. There's no trust in Him. There's no hope in Him. There's no desire after Him or inclination towards Him. No desire to worship Him when you got a big ego. And so in the final analysis, all I can tell you to do is simply this. If you're going to live the life God wants you to live, you got to rest in God's provisions. See, God had a plan and a place for Abraham. And can I remind you in my final few moments that the Lord will always provide? And that's the promise of this text. Did you hear me say that's the promise of this text? Somebody listen to me right now. You've given up on the promises of God. But may I remind you, God's promises predate this predicament in Genesis 13. God's promises predate this passage in Genesis 13. God's promises have lived longer than you, child of God. And Abraham trusted in that. And we see his trust displayed when he built an altar to the Lord. He believed God would make good on his promises. See, when you become Abraham, you don't need to fight when you know you got God's favor. And that's where I want to live, child of God. I want to live my life with the favor of God on my life. And I cannot do it if I have a huge ego, a big head. Ego, again, is edging God out. And I know that's not where you want to be, but you got to deal with yourself. Listen, don't be so heavenly minded you're no earthly good. And don't start bragging because now you're living life on the east side, Now I'm, as the old song says in Jefferson's, now I'm up in the big leagues getting my turn at bat. But don't forget where you come from. And that's all I want to share with you today. Don't edge God out. Don't get the big head. Let God give you favor. It'll work out for your good. Until next time, it's been Pastor Edwards. Genesis chapter 13. Don't get the big head. Peace.